Yes, people, Manscaped is back, but this time it's not for below the belt grooming. Manscaped brings to you the Beard Hedger, the best product on the market when it comes to beard trimmers. The Beard Hedger is unique due to its number of gradient settings. As someone who's purchased this, I won't turn to any other beard trimmer. Check it out for yourself at manscaped.com. And don't forget to use code FTM20 to get 20% off of this product.
Morning, people. Hope you are well. Big up to everybody that is in the chat and that's joining me nice and early and live. Well, do you know what? I'd like to be a little bit earlier, if I'm honest with you, but I'm a little bit later because what I thought I'd do is actually react to last night. I didn't do fan cams last night. I got myself home. It got really late by the time that I got in. And you know what? I thought, let's just do it this morning. So I thought we would have a chat about the game last night this morning because I was very impressed. I was really, really impressed. I'm pleased by what I saw from Arsenal. So we're going to go into all of the details that we saw last night and what this might mean for us in this competition. How impressed were we? Do we think we can go all the way? Is there an aim? Is there a target? Is there a minimum expectation for Arsenal in this competition? And of course, what it means with the fixtures that are coming thick and fast. We're going to break down some of the play, some of the players, and analyse what we thought was a performance at the Emirates, which sees us win 2-0 against PSG, a team that, let's be real, a lot of people would have feared in this competition not long ago. So we're going to be talking about that. Please make sure you do me a favour. First of all, hit the like button, people. Make sure that you are hitting the like button and subscribe. Two buttons that are very important, the most important on this channel, and they do really count. It makes the channel grow. Like and subscribe. They're two buttons that are free, and you can cross the live chat, click like, subscribe, and then go straight back into the live chat if that's what you want to do. So please make sure all of you have done that. Big up to every single one of you that is here nice and early. We're going to go through the chat and say hello in a minute, and I will literally give you all a call out. But please do me a favor. Click on the pinned comment, go to manscaped.com. That link will give you 20% off of the Beard Hedger. Make sure you select the Beard Hedger for your beard trimmers. Christmas is coming. Make sure you get your beard shavers. And make sure that you, if you don't want them for yourself, treat your uncle, your brother, your cousin, your father, your stepfather, your godfather, whoever it may be. I am sure that they would appreciate it. Manscaped is where it's at. So please make sure you go over there and get 20% off the Beard Hedger. Good morning to Alex. I will see you later tonight on the show at 7 p.m. We've got the Arsenal Roundabout, myself, Northside, Alex from Forder on Football. We've got Egal coming on. We've got Kenny Ken. We're going to talk all things Arsenal. Big up to Tammy. I hope you're well, darling. Big up to AO. Big up to It's Me Everest, Grizzly, Helsinki, James, ROC, Suj. Hope you're well, my bro. Thank you so much for being with us as always. Easy, Ad, and Spartacus Kuna. And everyone else that's watching live that is not in the chat, and of course that's watching on catch up. Big up to every single one of you for tuning in and supporting the channel. It really does mean a lot. We are 97 subscribers away from 25k. Please do me a favor and hit subscribe. It's free. It does not cost you anything, but it really helps the channel. If we can get 97 on this video, then trust me, we'll be doing well, and we can celebrate 25k. So please, people, just hit the subscribe button. I don't care if you're new and you're never going to watch me again. Please, if you like what we're doing here, then hit the like and subscribe because it really does count and mean a hell of a lot to me. So please, 97 people I need to get during this and tonight's stream. Let's make sure we can hit it tonight on the Arsenal Roundabout, people. 97 of you, please hit the subscribe button. That's all I need. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So look, we're going to be talking about Arsenal. I was really impressed last night, guys. Really impressed last night. I went to the game with my dad. There was an atmosphere that I suppose, one that I would not say I was extremely proud of because I felt like we were quite quiet at times. But one section of the fan base that was not quiet was the PSG fans. My goodness, how impressive were they? They were screaming and shouting from minute one. They went 1-0 down, they're screaming and shouting. They're screaming and shouting. They went 2-0 down, they're screaming and shouting. It was like they'd scored a goal every few seconds. It was like they were winning 4-0. I love the Champions League for a lot of things. But you know what I love going to the Emirates for? The opposition fans. There's no one like it. They say England have the most passionate fans, and I would agree with that. But my God, you wouldn't have known it last night. They were insane. They were so good. They were impressive. They were loud. They were noisy. They were scary in parts. They didn't care they were losing 2-0. Now, don't get me wrong. They've come over from the Eurostar. I'm sure most of them, some of them probably live here, managed to get tickets, and they've had a real good day of the drink, trust me. But my God, they were impressive. And they absolutely drowned out the 60,000 Emirates Stadium for majority of it. Now, there were times we fought back for sure, and when we were winning and playing well, we did. But I thought PSG were absolutely superb, and fair play to their fans because they deserve a mention first off. But I thought the team news picked itself. I expected it to be the same as Leicester. Good to see Marino back on the bench. A couple of youngsters also. I think we've actually got everybody back now other than 4 players. Tomiyasu and Ben White will be on the bench very, very soon, I'm sure, because it's not long term that they're out for. Tommy's back in training. Zinchenko and Ødegaard are the only 2 players at the moment that we're missing. I would say long term. Ødegaard, we expect to see him in the next a couple of months. We expect to see Zinchenko in the next few weeks. So let's see how long they're going to be out for. But I must say, I've been really impressed with the squad depth this season so far. That we have got, because although the bench at times has had some kids on it, we have actually got Sterling on there, Jesus on there, Wanyeri on there. We've had Trossard or Martinelli that's been on there some occasionally. So we're starting to get now back to what should be our best starting 11 with bench. So let's hope that that continues. So that was the starting 11. Let's go through the players, because David Raya, I don't think had much to do, but when he was called upon for crosses, for saves, he was brilliant. And I think what I liked about Raya last night even more was he really is our kind of extra player on the field, if that makes sense. You know, that people say, oh, who was our best outfield player today if the goalkeeper's had a good game? I kind of look at Raya as a player because he's so involved in what we do at the back. He basically plays as a centre-half for most of the game. When we're in possession and out of possession, he goes back to being a goalkeeper. There's not many goalkeepers that do that in the world other than potentially Alisson and Edison. So he really is at the moment in Premier League one of the best. And I don't think he's at Edison or Alisson level by any means. But I honestly believe he's in the conversation as one of the next best goalkeepers. I think along with Emi Martinez, he's got to be recognised as one of the best. I really do. And we're really lucky to have him. That's for sure. So let's see what happens in the coming future for David Raya, because he's had a brilliant season. He really has. I want to mention Timber because he did go off with a knock at half time, and I hope it isn't serious. They've said, I think Mikel Arteta in the press conference afterwards, that it's not serious. He felt something, and because he's been out for 11 months, we don't want to take any risks. And they didn't do that. And I think when he came off, Calafiori and Kivior actually looked really good, because in the second half, PSG looked to play a lot better, and they were a lot better than us in certain aspects of the game. Calafiori going to right back. I didn't think he had an outstanding game, but he did his job. I thought Timber was absolutely immense in the first half. I thought he was one of our best players. And when he came off, I thought Kivior really played well. I mean, everything that was asked of him, he managed. He had pace to keep up with their pacey team because they had some quick players, PSG. And I was impressed with his performance in the second half. But my God, Gabriel and Saliba are absolutely unbelievable. They are monsters. Everything that got near the pair of them, they just swept up. And Gabriel, by the way, at one stage in the first half, his tackle, he celebrated like he'd scored a goal. That's how much he loves defending. Gabriel is a player that I've always appreciated, but he's an absolute monster at the back. And when we bought him from Lille, I'd watched a bit about him, and I said, when Gabriel was linked with a London club and a Premier League club, I was praying it was Arsenal, because I saw him at Lille and I thought he was a top talent. Every time I watched them, which held my hands up is not very often, I always saw him as a beast at the back and thought, I'd love somebody like that at Arsenal. That's what we need. If you remember at the time, we had Mustafi and David Luiz and Socrates, right? So when we bought him, I thought, right, that's a good start. I think he's been one of Arteta's best signings. Apart from Martin Ødegaard, I think he's been Arsenal's best signing in terms of what Arteta's bought. I really do, because I just think, I look at him and I think, yeah, £27 million. What would Gabriel and Saliba be worth now? They were both worth 27 million. Ødegaard was 30. You ain't spending under 90 million and getting 3 players of that quality in this day and age. You ain't. So we have to sit there and say, fair play. And you know what? Saliba we have to thank Emery for, because it was Emery who signed him. So look, we've got 2 centre-halves that complement each other. We've got 2 centre-halves that are the best in Europe right now. We've got 2 centre-halves that give us a chance in every competition that we're in. And as long as they're fit, I fancy us to take 3 points. I really do. And I understand they've conceded goals now. Yes, we conceded against Brighton. We conceded 2 against City. We conceded 2, obviously, against, Leicester. But let's just be real. We've looked so solid still, even with those goals we've conceded. Because Brighton scored because they had 10 men. Manchester City couldn't score against anybody. And the reason they scored again, because they had 10 men. We had 10 men. And the reason that Leicester scored is because one was an absolute worldie and one went off the ricocheted off the back of Havertz. So you can't say Arsenal defended horrendously with any of the goals that we've conceded so far. Now, potentially the Brighton one, because we got cut open, but we had 10 men. We had no midfield. It was quite clear Rice wasn't on the pitch. So for me, I think we need to big up the defence at Arsenal. And last night was no different. All four of them deserved absolute medal for how they were last night. They kept PSG quiet. They kept them out. And they didn't really shock us. They never really had any pelters at our goal. They weren't peppering David Raya. They hit the crossbar. They hit the post. But they were struggling to hit the target other than that. And David Raya swept everything up, commanded his area, caught everything that came across. And we defended everything else. So Arsenal need to be looking at that and taking confidence from that. If we can go through the new format without conceding goals, we're going to go through easily. Atalanta, we didn't concede. PSG, we didn't concede. And let's be real, guys, they're probably two of the hardest games we're going to play. Other than Inter Milan away, I'd say they are the two hardest games that we're going to play away. You know, Sporting Lisbon, that might be difficult, but they didn't beat PSV last night. They lost their first game, I believe. So, look, we're in a position where we can really go into this competition with some confidence. Moving into midfield, I thought Thomas Partey was excellent. I was really impressed with him in the first half. I thought he won so much back. His interceptions were superb. His passing ability was great. His composure, how to calm things down. But also when PSG looked like they were on the break, he managed to get his foot in and just get enough on it to guide it back to either Gabriel or Saliba. I was impressed with Thomas Partey this half. And I know that he came off in the end for Mikel Merino, which we'll touch on. But I thought Partey was one of our better players. I thought he was excellent. Declan Rice, superb. Yet again, another performance where I just look at him driving forward on the ball and think, wow, I'm not sure he's an 8, but there's attributes to his game which will allow him to be. I want to see him in the 6 because I think with him and Marino and Ødegaard, when they're all back fit, we've got a phenomenal midfield. But when he can play in a number of positions there and be versatile enough to drive forward in the 8, you've got a player. He is phenomenal. I'm so impressed by the fact that he is so composing on the ball. But actually, there's something about Declan Rice on the football where players around him, not scared, but they're kind of wary. They're wary on him because of his physical presence. They're wary because they know he's got control of the football. They're wary because they know he's very good on the ball. And they're also wary because they know that he actually can pick out a pass. And not only can he pick out a pass, he can drive forward with the ball. So there's a little bit of an expectation like that you've got with Declan Rice when you're defending against him. You don't know if he's going to drive forward with the ball. You don't know if he's going to go back and keep it safe or if he's going to thread it through. And that's such a good thing to have as a footballer. His presence is phenomenal, by the way, in terms of his physical attributes that he's got. I'm really am a fan of what we see from Declan Rice. I think he's a top player. So big praise to Declan. And I've got to say, Leandro Trossard, technically gifted, phenomenal footballer. One of the best that we've got. One of the quickest feet you'll see in the game. Very, very comfortable on the ball. Very, very quick with his agility. And reminds me so much of Alexander Hleb when we had him at Arsenal. In fact, I think he's much better than Alexander Hleb because he's got the finishing ability as well. But in terms of his style, of his play, he looks so much like him. And it was kind of rolling back the years because I thought he was really good, Trossard. I understood that he come off and rightly so. You know, we've got to get our squad fit and keep him rotated. But I thought he was excellent and deserves a mention. And then you've got Saka and Martinelli, which didn't pull up any trees by any stretch of the imagination. But look, Martinelli was a threat all night. And I've got so much faith in this kid to still be good. I'm frustrated he didn't score. If I'm honest with you, both of them actually weren't as easy when I look back at them again. One of them was a volley that would have been an absolute worldie of a goal if it would have gone in. It would have capped off one of the best team goals we would have scored in the Champions League in terms of first touches and flicks to each other. But actually, the one where he actually should have gone through and took his time more and composed is actually quite difficult because the angle was tough and the defender had just done enough where he'd only really had one chance to shoot. And I think the goalkeeper should have covered it and did cover it in the end. But Martinelli's goals will come, I'm sure, because he's got faith by his manager. His manager still plays him. His manager's got faith. The fan base has got faith. And I think it's only a matter of time before he starts scoring goals. We saw him at the weekend get one. Should have got one last night. He's getting in the right positions. The goals will come. I thought he worked tirelessly. Didn't stop running. And likewise, Saka on the other side, who captained the team. What a proud moment for him again to captain whilst Ødegaard is out. He, at the moment, is starting to look like he's back to his best. Everything he's doing is coming off. He's beating his men. He's cutting inside. He's taking his men on and beating them. He's crossing the ball. His delivery is top notch. He's improved that by far, like no end. He now is starting to look like a winger that can put a ball on a plate for you. And that is something I've never seen with Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka's never been seen as a David Beckham who, beats his man and delivers the ball in. But his delivery is starting to look very, very impressive. If you look at his assists, the evidence shows he's got better. I mean, if he's not scoring, he's assisting pretty much every single game. Like, he will get an assist in every single game if he hasn't played well. He'll get a goal and assist if he's playing well. You can see why Arteta needs him. You can see why Arteta doesn't play him and doesn't drop him. And I understand that people get frustrated, but he's one of our most important players alongside Saliba for me, Bukayo Saka. We've proved that we can actually win games without Martin Odegaard, so it proves he's not our most important player. I think Saka and Saliba, you'd notice them gone. I really do. And I think sometimes you might say, I don't think Saka's having a great game. You might not notice that Bukayo Saka is not doing as well. But actually, he'll bag in a corner and it'll go in. Or he'll float in a cross. Or he'll beat a man and square it and they'll score. That's what Bukayo Saka does. And I think he's at his best at the moment. And I've been really impressed. I looked at him against Leicester. I thought he played well. Thought he played really well. Obviously against Bolton, which I expect him to. But last night he was excellent. And that's in Champions League. That's against PSG. Against, by the way, a left-hand side that consisted of Nuno Mendes and Barcola. This is a very, very, very good left-hand side for PSG. And our right-hand side dealt with it. Timber and Saka. I thought Timber played really well with Saka as well, by the way. And then we've got Havertz, who for me was my player of the match. I thought he was outstanding in everything that he did. Not just the goal, but his hold-up play, his link-up play, his tracking back. He won back the ball, his interceptions, his work rate. He was tenacious. He never gave up. He was a fighter last night. He was in every single battle winning. He went into every single duel and come out on top. He ran every single ball in the air. He brought down most of the balls that were flung into him by Raya. He was outstanding. And I really do feel like we've got a player here who is proving why he has such an importance to the team in that position. I don't like him in the midfield role. I don't like him there. But I do like him in the number 9. And yes, I do think we need a striker. That does not mean we drop Havertz and keep him and sell him. We keep him in the squad and we use him because we need him. He, for me, is the closest we've had to Olivier Giroud in a long time. I think that he is going to be a player that we look at and think, what do we do when we get this striker? Do we change our system to play Havertz off of that striker? Or do we place Havertz a little bit in the Bergkamp role and go more to a kind of 4-4-2 in possession? How does this work? Because Mikel Arteta has kind of tried that a few times. When he has, I don't think it's worked. I'm not saying it can't work. I'm not sure him and Trossard are the best together. I think maybe he needs somebody like a new signing, like maybe an Isak or somebody like that to play off of. But my goodness, I am so impressed with what I saw from Havertz last night. I thought he was one of our best players. And for me, he got player of the match. I thought he was excellent. Look, he's taken the goal really well. Leandro Trossard deserves an absolute applause for it because he was fantastic. The ball is superb. The bit of technical skill before it is fantastic. And the delivery is inch perfect. But Havertz has got a lot to do there. One, he's got to get the timing right. He's got to anticipate the run right. He's got to estimate what's happening with the goalkeeper. But also, when the goalkeeper goes up, he's then got to be brave. And I thought he was very, very. And the ball goes in the back of the net with a fantastic header. And I really thought then, wow, we need to see more from that from Kai Havertz. Because Havertz is a threat in the air. Havertz is a threat in the box. Havertz is a nuisance. And that's something that we're now getting out of him. And now Chelsea are trying to tell us that Jackson's better and they're happy without him. Let's be real. Havertz has not been a bad signing for Arsenal. In fact, Havertz has been a great signing for Arsenal. For 65 million, people think that's a hell of a lot of money. But when I look around the transfer market, it actually isn't. When you look at what other teams are paying for players now, Harry Maguire was 80 million. Anthony was nearly 90 million. I look at Caicedo and Enzo, who are over 100 million pounds. I look up top at strikers if you want to compare. You've got players like Højlund, who was 73 million pounds. Havertz was not a lot of money when you look at it now. At the time, we thought, what? 65 million, this guy's not proved anything. But actually, he's been a player who's proven a lot of people wrong. A lot of media pundits, a lot of rival fans, Chelsea fans, and Arsenal fans. He's proven wrong. He has been really good. And I look at his goal scoring record and I think, do you know what? When he's played in the 9, he's got stats that are up there with some of the best. So, look, I still think we need a striker. I'm not saying stick with Havertz and we're done, we're happy, but stick with Havertz for now because that's the best that we've got, for sure. Little bit frustrating, if I'm honest, to see some of the players come off the bench that weren't Ethan Nwaneri, but I kind of feel like there could be potential for him to start against Southampton, and I really hope that does happen. I really do. So let's see what happens there. When it comes to Lewis Skelly coming on, it was good to see him, but the one player we all look forward to seeing was, of course, Mikel Merino. He came on, and I thought he looked very, very good. There wasn't much about his game that you can say was phenomenal, but when you do look at what he was doing in terms of his passing, how sharp he looked, how ready he looked, how concentrated he looked, and how focused he looked ready as soon as he went on. It was like taking, an animal out of the cage and letting him loose. That, for me, was what we wanted to see. Mikel Merino, I think, will start for Arsenal in the coming weeks, and I think he will be our number 8. That would allow Declan Rice to drop into the 6, and then Martin Ødegaard when he's back to playing that 10. And while Ødegaard's out, I'm actually okay with Trossard and Nwaneri there. I actually am. So, look, something you've got to hold your hands up at the moment for is say, if this continues long term, Arteta's proving why we don't need a striker, and Arteta's proving why we didn't need to replace Fabio Vieira. You have to hold your hands up and say fair play. Now, look, we might get to Christmas and January and things might be different, right? I'm sure there's going to be a stage where I'm ranting and raving going, see, this is why we needed Eze, this is why we needed Isak. But when I look at it, at the moment, we're making do. We're making do. Some people in the chat asking about Timber. No, he's definitely not injured. From what we hear, he felt something. They've taken him off, and he should be all right for the weekend. They didn't want to take any risks. Ben White, still not sure, still not fully recovered. So we need to have a look at him and see how fit he is. Tomiyasu, back in full training. Expect him to be on the bench against Southampton, if not for the following game. Ødegaard's still out long term. Zinchenko's still out for a few weeks. But other than that, everybody else is now fit and available. So that is a massive plus for Arsenal. Massive, massive plus for Arsenal. So let's see what happens there. Let's talk about Gabriel Jesus, shall we? I don't really think there's anybody at the moment that's a fan of what Gabriel Jesus is doing when he's coming on. I've got question marks over him more than I have some of the other players, like Martinelli's form and the form of players that are coming back from injury and those that are injury prone. Gabriel Jesus has got one more year left at Arsenal. And that one more year has to be a phenomenal year. I don't think he's been anything short of a flop so far for Arsenal. We've spent £50 million on him, and he's scored some very nice goals. He's had very good goals scored for us in the Champions League. He's had good goals scored against us in his first season. But every year he's got long-term injury, 3 months out at the bare minimum. And if I'm honest with you, I don't really see him as an important player. I don't even think I see him as an important squad player anymore. And that might be incredibly harsh. He's a talented footballer. I just need to see more about what he does. I'd love to see him create, link up, assist and score. I'd love to see him score in the 9, in the left, in the wide right areas. I'd love to see him come on and change a game. I'd love to see him give us a lift. I just don't really feel like his future at the club is looking too good at the moment. Now, when you play him against Bolton and you start questioning what he's doing, there's problems. When he came on against Manchester City, he got a yellow card and cost us by doing something stupid in the corner flag area, when all he had to do was clear the ball up the field like everyone else had been doing for the past 55 minutes. But for him, he decided to try and be clever, take it back down into his corner flag, lose out, give away a corner, have his boot flung off and get a booking. It was poor, to say the least. His performance against Bolton was poor. Last 20 minutes, he started to shine, missed a sitter, wasn't very creative, didn't really do much for us. And when he came on last night, I kind of felt the same. And I just worry for him. I just worry for his future. That's all I'm saying. If Arsenal need another centre forward, he's the one that's going to Saudi Arabia in the summer. I don't think that we can afford to be carrying players like that are injury prone, that don't actually bring enough to the team for what we want to win us a title. The biggest compliment I can give Arsenal is we have outgrown Zinchenko and Jesus quickly. Just like Manchester City outgrew them after 3 seasons, we've now outgrown them after 2. That's the biggest compliment I can give them, because nobody wants to see Zinchenko or Jesus starting anymore. And in fact, nobody really wants to care if they come on or not. That means it's probably best that we get rid of them. So let's talk a little bit about what that might mean in the future. I don't like to bring up January transfer windows and summer transfer windows when the summer one of this year has just shut. But I do like to look at the future of where we are going with this team. Thomas Partey is leaving. Tchouaméni is available from Real Madrid apparently in the summer. Zubamendi is there. Varela is there from Porto. I feel like we need somebody like that to come in. That needs to be a given. I've always been a fan of Barella and De Jong and Bruno Guimaraes, but if they're not going to be available, then let's go for somebody who might be. Zubamendi and Tchouaméni are definitely going to be available. We need one of those to come in to replace Thomas Partey. I don't mind keeping Jorginho as the backup, because we kept El Neni for a while and he was there used if he needed to be. But that gives us a Thomas Partey replacement plus Declan Rice and Merino with Ødegaard and Nwaneri. I still feel like we need an attacking midfielder. Maybe it is going to be Florian Wirtz. Now, they're going to cost a hell of a lot of money, both of those players, but I think that's where we're at now at Arsenal. There's no point bringing in squad players anymore. We need to bring players that are good enough to fight and take us to that next level and keep improving. Because everybody behind us is going to be improving, right? So that means we need to keep ahead of them, not just stay still and let them catch up. So Tchouaméni, Florian Wirtz, it's going to cost a hell of a lot of money. A hell of a lot. You're going to need £200 million just for those two, probably. Then I look at what we need on the wing, and it needs to be a Nico Williams. It needs to be. The release clause is still there, I believe. This season he wanted to stay. It's going to be a fight between Arsenal and Barcelona next summer. If it's £50 million, we've got to go and do it. And then we need to go and get the striker, who I'd love to be Alexander Isak or Victor Gyökeres. They're the only two I want. I don't want anybody else. I don't think they're good enough. I don't think anybody else can guarantee to be better than Havertz. So I want Isak or Gyökeres. So, yes, that's a lot. It's 4 positions that I think we absolutely need. Then I look at the defence and I think, well, we're going to have to replace any of them that leave. But we don't have to replace Zinchenko. He can just go. Gabriel Jesus, you might say you want to replace, but if we get in a striker and Nico Williams, we won't need to. So look, we're in a position now where we're very strong. Arsenal only need to add little bits. If they go and spend that money, they honestly will not be needing 5, 6, 7 players each season. That's what we need to be looking at now. And I'm looking at the squad last night and I'm thinking, yeah, there's a few kids on there. I understand that. There's going to be, because players are out, right? But if we could just have a squad of 20 to 22 players that were top quality, I honestly believe we can do that. And Leo's saying, please stop talking about Isak. He will not come to Arsenal. He absolutely will come to Arsenal. But Newcastle are going to have to sell him for the right price. There's no way he's going to want to stay at Newcastle, struggling to get in the Champions League, never going to win a trophy at the moment, not looking any better than they were last season. Or do you want to come to Arsenal and try and beat Man City for the title and win trophies? Of course he's going to want to come. Why? Where's he going to want to go then, Leo? Stay at Newcastle? Of course he would. Absolutely he would want to come to Arsenal. So I don't know why people were saying that. I think it's mad. We've got to look at where we're at in comparison to where Newcastle are at, right? That's the way I see it. So look, really impressed last night. And I titled this, Arsenal can win the Champions League. Why did I do that? Because, real talk, defensively we've got a chance. Offensively, we've also got a chance, but we've got more of a chance with the defence that we've got. I looked at it against PSG last night and it was just like no way through us. If we can deliver that against some of the European sides, I don't know how far we'll get, but I think we've got a great chance as anyone. Because in the Champions League, it's a knockout. And yes, the start of it's a league table, but once you get past that league table, it's a knockout. And I think this team could actually be built on getting through games defensively. And that's what you've got to do. Now, you can do that in the league when it's needed, and we've done that already. But I honestly believe there's an opportunity for us to really dig in our heels and get through some difficult fixtures. As we proved early days, we haven't had it easy so far. We really haven't. But actually what we've managed to do is get through against some tough opponents away from home. Villa didn't concede a goal. Atalanta didn't concede a goal. Man City, 10 men. We didn't lose the game, almost won it, 10 seconds away from it. Spurs won the game away, didn't concede a goal. PSG at home didn't concede a goal. So, yes, our defence is good. That gives us a chance in the Champions League. Of course it does. We've got an opportunity now to go as far as possible. And when I look around, I don't fear any teams anymore. Years ago, if we got AC Milan, if we got Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, I'm sitting there thinking, oh no, that's not what we want. This is going to be too tough. Now I'm thinking, good side, but so are we. We've got a chance. Last season against Bayern Munich, I thought we had a chance. Thought we should have done better, if I'm honest with you. This season, I don't fear Manchester City. I don't fear Real Madrid. I don't fear Borussia Dortmund. I don't fear Bayern Munich. I don't fear Barcelona. I don't fear PSG, who've just beat. Who else is there in the competition that you look at and go, Arsenal ain't beating them? Bayer Leverkusen, I think, are beatable. AC Milan, I think, are beatable. Inter Milan, I think, are beatable. Is there anybody you look at in that competition and think, wow, Arsenal, no chance of that? Because I fancy us going to the Bernabeu and keeping a clean sheet. I fancy us going to Man City and doing them over again. I fancy us at home defensively against anybody. So why do we have to be scared of these teams? Somebody in the chat, Charles Kings, has said, Atletico Madrid, very, very good side. Defensively, very rock solid. But I feel like we can go up against the Diego Simeone side now. And if I'm honest with you, people didn't want Simeone as their manager. Why? Because Arteta is Simeone. Arteta is the closest thing I've seen to Simeone in a long time. Difference is Simeone's got us across the line. Simeone is defence first. So is Arteta. Boy, you only have to look at Arteta's transfer window. He hasn't bought a striker because it's all about sorting his defence out. So, look, I think we need to be serious about the Champions League. I think we can win it this year. I don't think there's anybody at the moment I look at and think, wow, you're better. The only thing that will let Arsenal down, which is why I don't think we will win it, is up there. The mentality at Arsenal, we need to strengthen it up. And there's people in the chat agreeing. They're all saying, humble yourself, calm down. This isn't me saying Arsenal are going to win it, guys. Yeah, calm down. I'm saying why we can win it. There's an opportunity for us to win it. And it isn't just we can win it because Liverpool won it once and they weren't the best team, or Chelsea won it and Di Matteo, they weren't the best team. No, I'm saying we can win it because we're a bloody good team and we're a bloody good outfit. What I'm saying is the things that can downfall is up here. We ain't done it before. We ain't got the winning mentality yet. And when we go up against the side at the Bernabeu that could be hard, or the new camp that could be difficult, or maybe we go back to Bayern at the Allianz, have we got the mentality to get through? So, look, I'm saying give us a chance. I'm saying have faith that we can go far. And people, lastly, have said to me, where are we going to get then? What's your minimum expectation? I'll answer it this way, right? If we avoid Man City and Real Madrid before the quarterfinals, then I want a minimum expectation of the semi-finals. Because if you lose to Man City or Real Madrid in the quarters, you can't be gutted. They're two unbelievable sides. Yeah? Bayern Munich, I want to beat them. I fancy us more. I fancied us more last year. Couldn't quite get across the line. They beat us by a goal. I don't think they were levels above us last year. So I fancy us this year. They've got Vincent Kompany, who's a worse manager than Thomas Tuchel. So, yeah, they're flying at the moment and doing very well. And they should be. They're an unbelievable side. But I think when we look at the Champions League minimum expectation for Arsenal, I'll say semi-final, but I'll add a caveat to that, which is unless we get Real Madrid or Man City, who can beat anybody on their day, I fancy us over two legs against everybody else. And I fancy us against Real Madrid, Man City. But I would understand why you would potentially lose to them because they're that good. Yeah, they're that good. If we're drawing Shakhtar Donetsk, I'm beating them. If we're drawing Porto, well, we can't. They're in the Europa League this year, but you get what I'm saying. You're going to be going over two legs. If we're getting any other team I expect Arsenal to win over 2 legs. Manchester City can beat anybody. Real Madrid can beat anybody. They're giants, and Real Madrid are giants of the Champions League. So for me, I've got faith in this competition. This is the competition I want to win. I want this over the Premier League. Boy, I'd love to win the Premier League, right? You said you can only have one. I want the one with the big ears. Why? Because it shuts Manchester City fans up who think they're bigger than us. It shuts Chelsea fans up who think they're bigger than us. And it shuts everybody else up because we finally won a Champions League. The amount of times I've gone on to panel debates, have you got a European Cup? We have. Terry and LB yesterday on Straight Facts on the Football Terrace. Potsy, you wouldn't know, you haven't won one. Look, we're in a position where I think we've got an unbelievable chance. That's all I'm saying. So have faith, man, because defensively we're good. We're solid. We're solid. So I'm a big fan of what I'm seeing from Arsenal this season defensively. And people might laugh and say they've conceded these amount of goals. Yeah, look, we've been down to 10 men twice, right? We let in 2 silly goals against Leicester, but that happens in football. One of them was a worldie. One of them was a lucky deflection. So if you'd tell me that we ain't good defensively, you're absolutely blind. We are good defensively. We've got an unbelievable opportunity of going far in this competition. And yes, I will say it again, I do think Arsenal can win it. I think Arsenal can win all 4 of the competitions that we're in this season. I don't think we'll win all 4. In fact, I'd struggle to suggest money on us winning one, right? Because that's just the way it has been over the last few years. But when people say, can Arsenal win? Yes, the answer is yes. Can Arsenal win the League Cup? Absolutely. Why? Because we're a bloody good side. Manchester City apparently are playing the kids against Spurs, which means Spurs will win if that happens. And if they don't, it's brilliant. Brilliant banter, right? Manchester City and Liverpool are the only 2 teams that I would not want to face in the Carabao Cup. That means Arsenal can win it. Can we win the FA Cup? We've won 14 of them. Why not? Can we win a Champions League? I've just explained why. And can we win a Premier League title? Yes. If Manchester City miss Rodri as much as they did last season, yes, Arsenal can. Manchester City will drop points. We need to go on a nice run now. We've had nice fixtures. Bolton at home, PSG at home, Southampton's at home, Bournemouth is away, Shakhtar Donetsk is at home. Those 5 games, I want to see wins in every single one of them. And so far, we've got 3 out of 3. Let's make sure we go and beat Southampton and Shakhtar Donetsk now, because that's what we've got to do. Then we've got a difficult game against Liverpool. We appreciate that. It's a very difficult game. But you know what? They haven't been tested yet. Let's see. By the end of November, we will understand what Liverpool are about. Because in that time, they've got to play Chelsea, Newcastle, Arsenal, and I think it's Manchester City and Villa. That is going to be an unbelievable run of games. And I think they've got a couple of others in there, like Palace away, which is never easy, to be fair, even though they're playing poorly, and another team in there. But we'll see where Liverpool are by the end of November, and we'll see where Arsenal are. Because Arsenal have actually got, after this nice little run of games, some tricky games. Again, Liverpool at home, Preston away, Newcastle away, Inter Milan away, and Chelsea away. So we've got 4 away games in a row again. And then after that, it's quite pleasant for the rest of the season. Not easy by any means, but it's fairly pleasant. There isn't any of those that are away. The new format will finish. We'll go into the new year. Hopefully we get a nice trip to Dubai again to refresh us, because that's a good omen and it's sorted us out for the last couple of years. Let's go and do it again, man. Let's go and do it. And for me, we keep the faith and we go again. Let's take some super chats and some questions. Big up to every single one of you. Sue just said, hit the like and subscribe. Let's get Dan to 25k. His success is everyone's here. This will let Dan get more inspiration to provide more content. Big up to you, Suge. Absolutely love you for that, man. Make sure if you haven't done so already, you hit the subscribe button, because since this has been running, we have not got enough subscribes. I am 90. What am I? 96 away from 96 away from 25k. Please help me, guys. Hit the subscribe button. 96 people in here probably aren't subscribed. If you're not, just click subscribe. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. And it gets me to 25k. I'm trying to get to 25k this evening. So please make sure that you do it. All you've got to do is click like and subscribe. That's all you've got to do. And it will be 96 of you that I'll be able to say massive thank you to. Let me know if you are subscribed in the channel. Let me know if you're not subscribed. We've got another one of you that subscribed already, so thank you for that. Please make sure that you do that, people. And then let me know in the chat if you're subscribed or if you have just subscribed. Please let me know, and I'll say a big thank you to you. For context, out of a possible 82 Premier League games, Jesus has played 57 for a return of 15 goals. That's a poor return for a leader of a squad. Do you know what, Suge? I didn't even know that. That is incredible. Let me write them stats down. 82 games. 57 he's played. And 15 goals. And look, he's a good player. I'm not saying he's poor. Big up to you, Suge, for the super chats. Absolute legends. I'm not saying he's poor by any means. But let's be real. I honestly believe that we might be able to upgrade on him massively now. So let's see what happens. Yes, it's a bad return. We understand it's a bad return. But yeah, that's the way it is. Let's take a few questions. Got a few in here. If you want to ask me a question, then please do. Put a Q at the start of it so that I know it's a question. Would really appreciate that. Let me know in the chat if you've subscribed. Really appreciate it. 25k by the end of the night. That's what we want. Please, please hit subscribe because we're getting closer. We're 95 away now. We're 94 away now. So please make sure you're getting there slowly, people. Hit the subscribe button. Come on. There's 280 of you in here still. Come on. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. And we're good. Okay. Big up for the super chat, Suze. You're an absolute legend as always. This one comes in from Helsinki. Says, Dan, do you really believe that Arsenal will beat Real Madrid or Bayern Munich in the semi-finals to get to the final? I think we can. I think we can. I don't know why we should be scared of those two sides anymore. On paper, we might look at their side and think, wow, Vinny Jr., Kylian Mbappe, Rodrigo. Wow, they got Valverde and Bellingham and Camavinga. But they will 100% be looking at us going, right, we need to keep Saka quiet. We need to keep Havertz on top of him because he's a nuisance. We've got to keep Ødegaard and not let him have the ball. Declan Rice, watch out for him. Marino's come back on the scene. We know what he's like from the Spanish league. Gabriel and Saliba are going to be hard to break down. And then on top of that, they've got Timber, White and Calafiori. They're going to be looking like that as well. There's nobody else that's going to sit there and say, oh, yeah, Arsenal, that's easy. We'll breeze them. They're crap. Not anymore. Maybe a few years ago, they would have said that. Not anymore. Some people telling me you've already subscribed. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. If you hit the like and subscribe button, please let me know. Just let me know in the chat. Just subscribed. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I don't normally beg for these, but when we get so close to a target, I really want to push it. So please make sure that you do that, people. 93 of you now. Only 93 people that need to hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you so much. Chris, I know you've already subscribed. Absolute legend from Red Smoke there. Absolute legend. So yes, to answer your question, Helsinki, I do. I think that we can. Will we? I don't know. I can't put a definite on that. But I will say that I'm confident this season. Potts, did you see the Havertz quotes? He got Chelsea fans triggered. Yeah, he did. Big time. Obviously, he's got a picture of him lifting the Champions League. I don't actually know what was said, but he's basically had a dig at Chelsea. Enjoy your Conference League. We're in the Champions League, that kind of stuff. So for me, too right. Absolutely. He should be proud of where he is. He should be proud of what he's fighting for. He should be happy with his performances. Kai Havertz is a gooner now. And I think he's the sort of player that has that little bit of shithousery about him, doesn't he? That I don't think he actually ever cared for Chelsea. And if I'm honest with you, I'm not sure he cares so much for Arsenal. But he's playing very well at the moment. And we need to look at that and think, yeah, do you know what? I'm a big fan of the performances that he's putting in. So big up to Kai Havertz, man. Big up to him. This one comes in from Chaos Kings. Says, Dan, would you rather sign Nico Williams and Isak or Wirtz and Gyökeres? What price would you be willing to shell out if you were the decision maker? What a question. What a question. Okay, so I love Florian Wirtz. I think he's a phenomenal player. And Victor Gyökeres, for me, I think at the moment is probably one of the best on-form centre forwards. So the easy option is to go for them two. Florian Wirtz comes in to give competition for Ødegaard and can play alongside Ødegaard. In attacking 8. Gyökeres comes in and starts or gives competition to Havertz. That's the obvious answer, right? But the reason I would probably go for Nico Williams and Isak is because I think they take us to a new level in terms of their pace and power. And I think that at times Arsenal have actually lacked a little bit of pace and power in this side. And I think Isak, Nico Williams and Saka as a front three is three of the best you're going to see in world football. So I'm probably going to go with that. Nico Williams is going to be 50 million release clause. And I think Alexander Isak will cost 100 million. So for 150 million, you're getting that. Florian Wirtz is going to be 150 million euros, they reckon. So that's about 125 million. Gyökeres is probably going to be 84 million release clause. So you're actually going to end up paying more for Wirtz and Gyökeres. And Nico Williams and Isak, yeah, I feel personally will do more and deliver more for the side. But people may disagree. Well, let me know in the chat. Who would you rather have? Williams and Isak or Wirtz and Gyökeres? Let me know in the chat. Get involved, people. Big up to every single one of you for being here, man. I really appreciate it. Let's see how many likes we've got at the moment. Because it doesn't look like we are doing too well on likes. And to be fair, subscribers. Let's get the subscribers up, people. Please make sure that you're delivering on the subscriptions. Please make sure that you are liking the content and you are subscribed. We've got 130 likes. Let's get that up to 200 likes, please, people. All you've got to do is hit that like button. Just make sure that you hit subscribe as well. At the moment, what we're doing on subscribers, at the moment, we have 92 people that still need to hit subscribe. So please make sure we do that, people. Look, we're going to leave it there. I'm going to be back with Lee Judges this afternoon talking on his channel. So make sure if you're not, go and subscribe to Lee Judges TV. Hit the notification bell. You'll realize when we're on. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to this one. And I'll be back at 7 p.m. this evening before the Champions League games kick off, of course, for the Arsenal roundabout, where it's myself, Kenny Ken, Northside Gal, and of course Alex from Forder on Football, talking all things Arsenal. Last super chat before we do close is from Suj. Thank you so much, bro. He says, more context for City. Jesus had 159 games, 58 goals, all games in for Arsenal, 76 games, 19 goals. Wow. So that is 1 every 4 games, is that roughly? For a striker, that's not good enough, man. So, look, we need to look at Jesus seriously and look at where his future lies. But big up to you, Suj. Absolute legend for your super chats as ever, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone else that put in a question, that interacted in the chat, that put a super chat, and of course, that have liked and subscribed. Let's get this up to 25k tonight, people, when we can celebrate on the Arsenal roundabout. Click subscribe, hit the like button, and we will see you next time. Take it easy and up the Arsenal. Latest, people.
Yes, people, Manscaped is back. But this time, it's not for below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped brings to you the Beard Hedger, the best product on the market when it comes to beard trimmers. The Beard Hedger is unique due to its number of gradient settings. As someone who's purchased this, I won't turn to any other beard trimmer. Check it out for yourself at manscaped.com. And don't forget to use code FTM20 to get 20% off of this product.